Hi guys! In today's tutorial video, what we're going to do is partition a segment on a coordinate plane, but we're just going to use the points off of it. What you want to make sure that you fully understand before watching the tutorial video is the difference between a ratio and a scale factor, and how to calculate slope between 2 points. If those are two topics that you're struggling with, make sure that you watch the previous tutorial videos on ratios and scale factors and finding slope. If you're feeling confident and good to go, let's go ahead and try to partition a segment. So partitioning means to break into pieces. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've kind of taken the first part of the problem and drawn it on the board. Basically, the goal of this is to put point C on a location of AB such that C partitions AB in a 2:5 ratio. So 2:5 ratio means for every 2 sections, there is also a section of 5 over here. Okay? So before we can partition, I have to know 2:5 as a scale factor. So the ratio is 2:5. The scale factor, remember, is the A over A plus B, so 2 plus 5 is 7. Which means I'm going to find point C so that A to C is 2 units out of the 7. So I'm going to break this into 7 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, pretend that those are all equal. So we want to put point C to where it is 2 out of the 7 sections. So 1, 2, here's point C. So just remember, if you're doing a ratio versus a scale factor, 2 sections versus 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 2 out of 7. So remember the ratio video. Hopefully you've watched that. 2:5 ratio means for every 2 sections I have, the other has 5. Or in scale factor terms, I have 2 out of the 7 total sections. So what we're trying to do on the coordinate plane is calculate the exact location of point C. So this is kind of a representation of it off of the coordinate plane. Now let's go ahead and try to do it using actual coordinates. So the example we just did is actually this problem. The first thing that you have to do is find the slope of AB. That is step 1. So to calculate the slope of AB, you need to know the points of A and B. So I'm going to put A, 4, 2, and B, -8, 0. Usually when I tell you to do slope, it doesn't really make a difference how you calculate because it's going to simplify to the same value. In this case, you have to make sure that you are doing slope in a certain order. What that means is pay attention to how your segment is labeled. A, B. B is the second letter in the name of the segment, which means the B values for your terms are going to be represented as X2, Y2. Those will always be your second values. So just be mindful. It's just a nitpicky thing about the formula. Make sure you're starting at the right point. If not, it's going to change the direction. So the term directed, remember, just means direction. So order of things matters. My slope formula is Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So my Y2 value is 0 minus Y1, which is 2, over -8 minus X1, which is 4. If that was too fast for you, pause the video, maybe watch it again, or watch the slope tutorial video. So 0 minus 2 is -2. -8 plus, or -8 minus 4 is -12. At this time, do not reduce. So we're not going to reduce that fraction. We are not going to simplify it at all. We want to keep it the way it is. Remember, we want to make sure that we're labeling. The top portion is my change in Y. The bottom portion is my change in X. That makes a difference. You have to pay attention to the formula, which is why we spend so much time using the formula correctly. That's step 1. I know that seems like a lot, but remember, I'm showing every single step. You don't need to show every step on your work. Step 2 is to change the ratio to a scale factor. Again, if this is a concept you're unfamiliar with, please watch the ratio to scale factor tutorial video to kind of clarify. So it tells you the ratio right here, 2 to 5. Okay, so my ratio is 2 to 5. I want to change that to scale factor. Remember, scale factor, you add, or 2 is on top, and then you add A and B. So 2 plus 5 is 7. So now my scale factor is 2 over 7. Once you have done all that, you are ready for the formula. Okay, so step 3, plug into formula. So let's go ahead and talk about the formula. Don't freak out when you see it. You can do it. It's not a hard formula. It's just new. X equals X sub, and the letter that you put for the sub is the letter that is in front of the last letter. So A to B. I use B for my slope, and then A is going to be my subscript. Plus this scale factor times delta X. Lots of letters can look intimidating, but mathematically you can do this. X equals X sub A plus scale factor times delta X. The Y equation is the exact same equation, but with Y's. So instead of X sub A, we're going to put Y sub A plus scale factor and now delta Y. Now remember, we've been writing delta Y and delta X with slope, and that's to make your life way easier because doing this formula, it's going to help you. So let's go ahead and simplify into X first. X equals, the X sub A value is the location of the X value in A, 4, plus my scale factor, which is 2 over 7, times my change in X, negative 12. So again, I'm pulling all of this information from my problem. Okay. So there's my X value, my scale factor fraction came from this fraction here. Sorry, that purple is a little dark. Then my change in X came from slope. If you are not one that labels your work, I highly recommend that you start keeping track of the math that you're doing to make this easier. So I'm going to plug it in. 4 plus 2/7 times negative 12. That's an ugly decimal. Make sure that when you're typing this in that you're putting everything in parentheses properly, especially with the fraction. I'm going to do math, enter, enter, and I get 4 over 7. So my X coordinate for my C value, so I guess I'll change this to X sub C, so that makes a little more sense. We're focusing on the C value. My X coordinate is 4 over 7. Now let's do it for Y. I'm going to do it a little quicker because it's the same. Y sub 2, or Y sub A is 2 plus my scale factor, 2/7. Change in Y, negative 2. So again, all of this information is coming straight from our problem. I'm not making any of this up. I'm not pulling it out of thin air. All of this material has come from somewhere. And my scale factor, it's the same. That's why it's 2/7. The only new piece here, my change in Y, is negative 2. Again, I'm going to type all of that into my calculator. 2 plus parenthesis 2 over 7 times negative 2. I get a decimal, math, enter, enter, and I get the fraction 10 over 7. So Y sub C equals 10 over 7. So my location of my C point is 4, 7 over, 10, 7. That's the location of my partition. We have time to do one more. Let's go ahead. I'm going to do this a little quicker. Makes a little bit more sense. So given the points Q and F, find the coordinates of C on the directed line segment QF. That partitions QF into the ratio of 3 to 5. Step 1, slope of QF. Q is at 4, 2. F is at negative 8, 0. Remember, second letter, that's where I'm starting. This is my X2, Y2. Slope formula, Y2 minus Y1 equals x2 minus x1. y2 is 0 minus 2 over negative 8 minus 4. Does this give me the same answer? Oh my goodness. Negative 2 over negative 12. That's probably why I don't make up a lot of problems, because I get the same slope. So we did end up with the same slope as last time, but that doesn't mean that our answer is going to be the same, because our scale factor is going to change. So my change in y is my negative 2. My change in x is negative 12. All right, step 2. My ratio is 3 to 5. If I want that to become scale factor, I take A and put it up top, and then I add 3 plus 5 is 8. Notice how this is getting quicker. I'm not just speeding up just to speed up and have you get lost, but it seems like a lot of math in the beginning, but it's really not. All right, formula time. X equals X sub. My letter is now Q, so I'm just going to change that to Q. Remember, the subscripts just help you stay organized. They're not meant to confuse you. We're still trying to solve for C, so X sub C. And I got Y sub C equals Y sub Q plus scale factor times delta Y. Remember, subscripts are just there to help you. Let's sub in X sub C. My X value is 4 plus my scale factor of 3/8 times my slope, negative 12. So remember, all of this information is coming out of the problem. Here is scale factor. I'm replacing. Here is my X value, and we're using X sub Q because that's the letter. And here is my change in X. I'm stealing it from my problem. All this math I'm getting from somewhere. So I'm going to plug it in, 4 plus. Sorry, I'm filming this during lunch. So 4 plus 3/8 times negative 12 gives me a decimal of negative 0.5. So math, enter, enter, negative 1/2. So X sub C is negative 1/2. All right, let's do Y. Y sub C, my YQ value is 2 plus my same scale factor of 3/8 times negative 2. Remember, scale factor does not change as we move through this problem. I'm getting my Y sub Q value from the 2, and I'm getting my delta Y from the slope formula. All of this slope has meaning. Everything we've done has had meaning. We're not just randomly doing slope formula and not using it. You're utilizing it. So let's go ahead and try that last one now. So 2 plus parenthesis 3/8 times negative 2. Gives me a decimal of 1.25. Math, enter, enter, 5/4. So my location of point C, that would partition it into the ratio of 3 to 5, going from A towards B, is negative 1/2 and 5/4. Remember, all of this math that you've done, everything has a purpose. Finding a slope, you use the change in slope to help you. Scale factor to ratio, all of these things are utilized. I'm not wasting your time by making you do slope and never use it. Remember, you're using the information, you're simplifying everything, you got this. Take the time to write the formulas. Formulas matter. They make math a lot easier.